Good afternoon, Standard 8 students. I hope you enjoyed making the kite, searching for an Afghan dressed in winter clothing. It must have been a tough thing for you to do, but I just wanted you to explore Afghanistan and see the kind of dresses these Afghan people wear. Okay. There are many stories based on this particular place, country. The kite fighting tournament was an old winter tradition in Afghanistan. Now, the kite fighting tournament is not only conducted in Afghanistan, this kite fighting ceremony or festival is also celebrated in India uh, during the festival of Makar Sankranti. It started early in the morning on the day of the contest and didn't end until only the winning kite flew in the sky. Now, in this tournament, all the kites are flown high up in the sky and then they fight with each other. They hack or they cut each other's kite. Now, only the last kite that remains flying high in the sky, he is declared the winner. Once the tournament outlasted daylight, people gathered on sidewalks and roofs to cheer for their kids. So it is a very family-oriented festival where the kids take part in this kite fighting competition and the parents, elders and all the other family members, they also get onto the streets or they are on the rooftop to cheer the children, the kids. The streets filled with kite fighters, jerking and tugging on the lines, jerking and tugging on the lines, squinting up to the sky, trying to gain position to cut the opponent's line. Line means the thread which is attached to the kite. Every kite fighter had an assistant. In my case, Hassan, who held the spoon and fed the line. The fun began when a kite was cut. That was when the kite runners came in. Those kids who chased the wind-blown kite, drifting through the neighborhoods until it came spiraling down in a field, dropping in someone's yard, on a tree, or a rooftop. The chase got pretty fierce. Hordes of kite runners swarmed the streets, shoved past each other. Now so there are two kinds of participants in this tournament. Once you have the ones who are taking part in fighting the kites, or cutting or hacking the other line, and then there is another group of children who are on the streets. They are called the kite runners or kite chasers. So they chase after a kite that has been cut. Now this kite that is cut, it drifts in the wind and it floats and it goes, and then you have these kite runners or these kite chasers. They chase behind these kites. And they say the chase is fierce because it is very dangerous, very risky. Every time there are some mishaps, accidents, some children lose their lives. They go berserk or they go crazy while chasing. They don't see the danger that is prevailing around them and what kind of dangerous act sometimes these children they perform, climbing up to electrical poles, climbing up to trees. Like those people from Spain, I read but once the ones who ran from the bulls. One year, a neighborhood kid climbed a pine tree for a kite. A branch snapped, snapped means it broke, under his weight and he fell 30 feet, getting severely injured. But he fell with the kite still in his hands. And when a kite runner had his hands on a kite, no one could take it from him. That wasn't a rule, that was the custom. Now, this is how the chase becomes very fierce when the kids fail to realize the danger that lies ahead of them. They just focus on the kite, like he gave an example. One year, a kid climbed a pine tree 30 feet above, and a branch broke because of his body weight. It snapped. Suddenly, he fell. But he still held the kite in his hand. Didn't even realize whether his hands are broken or legs are broken or head is cracked or his body is bleeding. So that is how these people enjoy the kite fighting tournament, even at the cost of their lives. For kite runners, the most coveted prize was the last fallen kite of a winter tournament. It was a trophy of honor, something to be displayed on a mantle for guests to admire. Now, the most important prize is the one who stands alone, flying his kite in the sky. Okay, he gets a trophy and he puts it in a mantle. A mantle is a kind of a high place where if you see any of these film stars or celebrities, especially sports personality, you'll find that there are many trophies and are there on his mantle, which he has won throughout the year. So he keeps it on display, and anyone who enters his drawing room, they will see the number of medals, the number of cups, the number of shields, the number of certificates this person has accomplished or has won. So this is also one of a prestigious trophy in Afghanistan. When the sky cleared of kites and only the final two remained, every kite runner readied himself for the chance to land this prize. He positioned himself at a spot that he thought would give him a head start. Tense muscles readied themselves to uncoil, necks craned, eyes crinkled. Fights broke out, and when the last kite was cut, all hell broke loose. Now, in this chase, while chasing a kite, it is not done in a very fair manner. They have pulling, tugging, fouling, tripping, fighting, grouping, and there is a lot of problems that are also created. A lot of fights break out because some will say, I saw the kite first, or one will say, I touched the kite, one say, but I touched the thread first. And then they have a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of fight takes place. Then, through anger, when you take the pain of running for so many miles and you don't get anything, so that what happens, then you like to beat the person who has taken away the kite, or maybe it may have snatched it from you. Sometimes through anger, they tear the kite. A group of boys will bully the guy who won the kite, and they will tear it from his hand, tear his shirt when they beat him up. So this is a kind of a sport that causes a lot of fights and misunderstanding, but only on that particular day. Over the years, I had seen a lot of guys run kites, but Hassan was by far the greatest kite runner I'd ever seen. It was downright eerie the way he always got to the spot the kite would land before the kite did, as he had some sort of inner compass. So Hassan was a very experienced kite runner. So he would judge when the kite, the way it is being flown and the way it has been cut and the way it is drifting away in the wind. So he would run beforehand and position himself at a particular spot, and the kite would come sailing and come exactly to where he had positioned himself. It looked like as if he would perform some magic. He knew exactly where the kite would come and fall. So sometimes it gives you goosebumps to see the way Hassan goes. He runs so fast. He looked at the kite and he positioned himself, and then how the kite faithfully would be cut, and it would sail and sail and sail and sail and come to Hassan. And that is why Amir was a great fan of Hassan. Okay. Tomorrow I shall explain the remaining part. I have given you some notes to memorize, and on Tuesday I will conduct a class test on the adventures of the engineer's thumb. Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Be safe, and we shall meet again on Monday. Thank you.